that a mimosa tree? I'm not sure because they don't grow those in Ontario. And that's because we're not in Ontario. We are in Oregon. Oregon? I don't know how to say it. We'll get it right by the end of the trip, but there's our Bronco. This is our first road trip in almost 2 years. We bought that thing in November, and it is the beginning of August, so you can put 2 and 2 together. Let's go check it out. All right, we're here with Trey and his dad, and yeah, here's the Bronco. I think we bought this in November, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's been a while.
Yeah, and took a while to get some paperwork figured out. Thanks for holding it for us.
Yeah.
How long have you guys had it?
Probably 2.5 years. When we got it, we had to tow it home.
Okay.
The engine was kind of seized up in it. The guy didn't really know what was going on with it. We got it home, pulled the motor out, pulled the heads off, had to hone a cylinder because it had some rust and junk inside of it. We honed the cylinder, put some new head gaskets on it, put it all back together and drove it.
So that's the 351?
This is a 302.
302, okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna put F.O.R.D. to the test now. If you can just hone a cylinder and slap it back together again, see if you can drive 3,000 miles back home again. So she'll start. You guys fired it up and let's hear it.
2 days ago. It hadn't started in a long time.
Yeah.
2 days ago, I fired it up.
Right on.
A little exhaust leak.
Yeah, I hear the exhaust leak. That drove me nuts on the F350 too. It was the manifold gaskets. We changed them, and by the time we were home, they're already leaking again. But that's all right.
Typical Ford.
Yeah. When did they start fuel injecting? Fuel injection.
86.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yep.
Right on. And it was an air conditioning truck.
It was.
Nice. Yeah. So all the pieces are there. Just throw a compressor back on.
Yep.
Right on. And how's the clutch?
The clutch is new.
It's new? Okay, perfect.
Yep. We did that when we did the engine. We figured it wasn't worth putting back together with an old clutch in it.
Yeah.
So we just put a factory replacement clutch, and
Nice.
it's been good to us ever since.
And the plugs look like they're new?
Plugs are new, wires are new. The cam's actually new.
Okay.
Timing chain's new, intake manifold's new.
Nice. So I don't have to do anything, just drive it.
There you go.
Awesome. Nice, nice.
Yeah, you got millennial theft device here for one. Two, that's actually a 4-wheel drive shifter knob, just like this one here.
So you only have 2 4-wheel drives and no actual
exactly. You get in there and try to read the directions on how to drive it, and you're going to be all sideways.
And it's 4-speed, no overdrive.
4-speed, no overdrive.
All right.
Yep.
Do you know what the rear end is?
I believe the rear end is a 355.
Okay. Yeah, that's a nice one. So I think we've put a little bit bigger tires on it. She'll go just perfect down the road.
Yep. The fuel gauge works.
Fuel gauge. Yep.
Tack works.
Nice.
No radio though, so you got to sing to yourself.
Nice. I think the only way they can replace their trucks is if they bang them up to the wife, because otherwise the wife's like, it's not rusty, why do we need a new truck? But the best part is underneath. Go take a look underneath. Coolant, I can smell it, no training fluid. Four-wheel drive is disengaged, right? Yeah. Yep, perfect. me?
This mirror's gonna drive you nuts because it don't like to stay where it's supposed to
The F350 did the exact same thing.
Now, it ain't been on the road for a while, so
Okay.
be gentle.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, boys.
Yep.
She's a little bit all over the road. I'm thinking that's going to be a little bit scary on the highway. We might have to do some shocks or something to it. Everything else feels good. No hesitation. 5 miles an hour. It's not getting hot. We made it a mile. No issues. Brakes feel good. Got a bad vibration, I think. I think we're gonna have to put some tires on. Probably from sitting. He said he did top the tire pressures up. Alright, it's always trouble for me in the States because the food isn't the same for some reason. And one thing that I'll never get used to is that they actually sell beer at the gas stations here. So I don't like. We would never be allowed. Oh sweet, they have cake here. Nice. Okay. So it's been a long day. I'm not gonna lie. She's a little bit scary. I think she's trying to kill me a little bit. Our power window went down on us. There. So
Just
it's auto roll down. So we might have to look at that because it's gonna get worse when it rains. I think you use the key to get the window down, which is now stuck, and then you use the latch on the inside. Whoa! Good thing Stefan's not here.
Holy crap.
Yeah, they went for a pretty wild ride already. They're like, what is going on? The suspension, I think, is completely shot. It's got so much body roll. Like when we're going through the mountains and I'm trying to keep up with Aaron, it's scary because the steering kind of wants to do its thing and then like the ass end kind of comes around and comes back. So that's bad. It's got the shakes hard. And I think that's just the tires has been sitting too long and I am scared to death of a blowout on these little 15-inch tires and the stock suspension. So we've already organized a lift kit and some rims and tires for it. And that's actually the main thing that's wrong with it. Interior, it's all complete, it's all there, the radio's missing, but not a big deal. Can't hear it anyway because you gotta leave the windows down because I'm pretty sure either the countryside's on fire or there's a lot of exhaust coming in from the leak on the manifold here. So it's kind of burning my eyes. Are your eyes burning, Aaron? No. Okay. Well, he's in a nice Corolla with air conditioning. So we have some things that need to be taken care of before we can do the other 3,000 miles. But in the meantime, it's been a long traveling day, and United lost my luggage, so I have no clothes. So we got to head over to a Walmart or another store and grab some clothes and a little bit of food to eat. So, but the good news is it's going to make it home. It's there's nothing to doubt. It didn't miss a beat. It purred like a kitten the whole time. About $3,000 at 65. Were you doing 65, 70 mile an hour? We were doing 72. So 72, I was doing about $3,000. So that's not bad. With some bigger tires, we'll drop the RPM a little bit, and then it'll be a good fit for the highway. Somebody did walk on the roof and on the hood, so that's all banged up. I don't think we can save that. So while we're down here, I think we're going to look for at least a hood, a steering wheel, because it's all cracked and starts to bite into your hands, and possibly this fender. I don't think that if we can find a nicer, cleaner fender, I don't think we want to mix that up. Anyway, we'll see you in the morning. Tomorrow's going to be an awesome day, because take a good look at this, and it is not going to look like the same truck tomorrow. Here we go. All right, we're here at Fun Offroad. This is Bob.
How you doing?
You run the place?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Bob was nice enough to set us up with one of the roll cages for our generation. I see you got a lot of first gens, but you do roll cages for
Blazers, Broncos, all gens of Broncos,
Okay.
Jeeps,
Okay.
you know, Land Cruisers.
You had 40 first gens in a row?
I had 40 first gens in rows out at my dad's,
Yeah.
and that's what got me into it, is I'd sell parts off of them.
Yep.
Yeah, and he was like, you gotta get rid of those. And I'm thinking, you know, back then we wouldn't fix them.
Right.
Because if it got wrecked or rolled, you couldn't buy doors, you couldn't buy fenders. So you had to buy another one to get all the hard parts to fix it. So if it got rolled very bad, you didn't fix it, you just went and bought another one.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore.
Right.
Now you look back
So
and
what happened? You got married, you moved out, and your dad crushed all of them?
Oh, I hauled them all, most all of them off and crushed them. Yeah.
Oh.
It's kind of sad story, but
Yeah, it's like the stock market, right? You have no idea what's
No
going to be,
idea what they're gonna
what's
do.
going to go up and what's going to go down.
Yeah.
But you got an awesome lineup. And then I convinced them to let us use a hoist and a bay for a day, and we're going to throw a lift kit in the Bronco and some rims and tires. Going down the road, the mountains, it's got some body roll and the steering's sloppy. It was pretty scary for a bit. So I'm hoping that fixes it. The tires are just shaking. Let's roll it in, and I think we got a big day ahead of us. So.
okay.
All right. Appreciate all your guys' comments in the last couple videos saying you guys use Shell Rotella T4 and absolutely everything. I use it in all my diesels, but you guys were saying lawnmowers and cars and everything. And it's actually true. T4 is actually a really good fit for these sloppy old muscle cars and trucks and that. So we're throwing some T4 into this just to get us home. I'm sure it will by the time we get home. It'll be due for another oil change. Or, you know, a Coyote. Throw a Coyote in there. Either one. It's great protection and tried and tested by yours truly for the last 20 years. Here we go.
I was kind of hearing that maybe it takes a lot of hours to do the lift kit.
You guys have done that 5?
We close at 5. That doesn't mean you have to be done
All right,
at 5.
perfect. I'm looking it up online, trying to see other videos of installing a lift kit, and it's just like a guy in his garage. He's like, all right, I'm gonna put a lift kit on. Next scene is like, all right, well, I got it on, and this is how it works. It's like, and then I'm like, how long does it take? Some guy's like, oh, it took me 8 hours. It was 8 hours, maybe with a hand we can move along, right?
Yeah.
The guy's, oh, I've done a bunch, and I got it down to 3 hours, but he's bragging. I'm like, how long does it take? It's not on Skyjacker's site or anything, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, you have tomorrow or
Yep.
tonight. Tonight.
Perfect. Thanks.
See how it's all dirty?
So just blow oxygen at it and then, okay. We got the front axle supported on the axle stands, but we got to go up a bit so we can get our nice lower brackets in.
That side, make sure that I think I left one.
No? Okay. They're in the frame and they'll hit that car behind it. Which vehicle do you think it was, sir? I think it was the one with the plywood window. Okay. First things, let's take the shock out, and that will allow you to drop the axle down. We've got the frame supported in the middle, lift up. We'll drop your axle down as low as possible. And just torch the spring. Once the weight is off of it, then you get rid of the spring. And then it's a matter of getting rid of all the brackets. So we need to torch this bracket off. We got some fuel lines in behind, so definitely be safe. We got fire extinguishers and that around. I got the nut off the back of this. Basically, we're making a bracket that will drop this down. And then we're adding 2 other brackets. So we're replacing this bracket, which goes to your front diff housing. And then basically just these 2 bolts in this one. This bracket will come, that's a direct bolt in. So that's nice and easy. And then 1 more bracket at the back, and we'll get into that in a minute. After that, yeah, we'll knock this bracket off. We got this one torched already. And that's the biggest, hardest thing, if you don't have the right tools, is torching that, knocking that out. Here we go. Look how easy that is, Bob.
Well, that's the guy running the torch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Back those out.
Okay.
Bob has a lot of nice first gens in here, so we're gonna let him run the torch because I don't want to pay for burning a shotgun. The biggest part of the whole job is replacing these brackets and getting rid of the old rivets. The problem is when you squeeze a rivet, it also expands the center, so it gets tight in the hole. You gotta grind it off, torch it off, and then punch it through. Then not all the holes line up, so we have to drill new holes. So we're almost there. 2, 4 to go. Put the bushings on there.
Yep.
Bob's done quite a few of these lifts already, and they generally don't come with the bushings for the back of the arms, so he was nice enough to go ahead and order those for us and say, here, do it right or go away. The kit comes with a plastic cup because there's a race on the old bracket. The new ones don't have it, so it's just a rubber and a washer, and we're golden. You got to put this in there as you're bolting the bracket up, otherwise it's impossible to kind of, well, it's kind of a pain to push it in, so we'll do that. I don't know if I can. These are awesome though. They're just for one of those, got a pickle fork, or how do you take those off, for a bar and a hammer? I think what we're gonna do is unbolt this, stick it on here loose, and then drop the Bronco just so the axle's kind of sitting on the ground, and we can just slide it back and forth and back to side, and then bolt the bracket up. And we're gonna put the washers on the right side. I think I'd almost even just leave them loose. As long as it's in the hole, we're good.
Where's the rest?
And the nut should be on the...
I got it.
You got it? All right. Yeah. I'm happy with that.
Okay, these 2 are lined up.
Yeah, these are all lined up.
What do you need?
Can I go through?
Yeah, you want through. Just catch the thread. Yeah. These ones are kind of hard to get at because they're up in kind of a blind hole. So what we did was just tack the nut on the back. And that's just to keep the nut from spinning. Much better. Now this Black & Decker drill just doesn't have what the Milwaukee's have.
You got Milwaukee over here.
You got Milwaukee just sitting there? Ah.
There's another battery.
That's like, the only thing holding the two halves together is your own grip.
Right?
There it is. Without a good drill and without a good drill bit, you're gonna have a not very fun time for a while. The nice thing is that each bracket uses at least one, if not two, of the OEM holes, so you don't have to screw around with placing brackets. So just after you put everything in, don't rely on your impacts, just check every bolt again and make sure that it is tight. And that's kind of an important part, and I would almost say drive it for 500 miles and then crawl under again and make sure that you tighten everything again. Good more, yeah, right there. Okay, we're good to jack up and put springs in.
Sure, this is bad.
So maybe that's why it was all over the road.
Hey, I tell you.
So you gotta, don't tighten these, as Bob told me. He was really yelling at me off camera. Until the weight is on there, because the bushing's kind of center, and then tighten them up. So I kind of goofed and getting ahead of myself. Okay, so if you put a lift kit on and you don't put bigger rims and tires on, you're gonna kind of get made fun of. So best thing to do is we bought some Pro Comp 69 series rims. These are 16-inch rims, and put on our favorite tires. These are the Open Country AT3s. Love these things. These are the same ones that are on my Silverado. And the F350's got the Open Country RTs. They're not great for the snow. These ones are much, much better for the snow, kind of all around, and a really nice highway driving tire. They're LT 285/75 R16s. Went with a little bit bigger of a rim, and these are kind of a perfect fit for this thing. Not too big, not too awkward, nice and quiet down the road. I really, really like these tires. So we got 5 of them. Here we go. Now I gotta go and take one nut off of each rim, so you guys can't steal my nice rims. Is the Carolina stance illegal here too, where you jack up the front and leave the back alone?
Oh, I suppose.
nicest thing in the whole truck is just to prevent, like, if this ever gets used, the rest of the truck is junk. But man, that looks good. Nice weld, nice act.
So here's one of our family rear cages for any of the full-size Broncos. 6-point design. This one has optional X brace in the top. It also has these optional BC braces we put in. Stiffen it up a little bit if you like. Your late model 94, 5, and 6, the seat belts are mounted in the hardtop. So when you take your top off, no seat belts for the rear seat. Put the bungs in right here. In those later model years, take the top off, your factory seat belts will go right in here. This one here doesn't have the factory high mounted seat belts, but now you can put the high mounted seat belts for the rear passengers. All your flanges are in. We offer it in fully welded, a full kit form. And then for guys who don't want to pay the high shipping for a fully welded cage, then the tack and fit cage is a really great option. We take this cage, we put it in our weld fixture. It's completely fitted in the cage, tacked. All these are marked, they're numbered. And then all the floor plates are welded on. We break it apart, it goes in a small bundle, and that's the less shipping that way. You get a cheaper shipping that way.
Nice.
And that's the tack and fit option. I really recommend that one. Mainly what started it was the early Broncos.
Okay.
And then guys wanted roll cages. I started hand building roll cages.
Yep.
Back in the day, it was all hand built, every one of them. And then it just kept going more and more. Now we just build a lot of roll cages as well as all the restoration and day-to-day mechanic work.
Nice,
And
nice.
nobody wants to haul their kids in with no top on it. And
No.
No.
Honestly, what it does it for me is I don't like the look as much with the top off.
It looks like something's missing.
Something's missing, and just the way the angle is, the GM, still looks like a pickup, right? But the
Yeah.
Bronco still has that angle, and you're like, something's missing. And this I think, does a really good job of that. And then for like a soft top, does it help with soft top?
Soft tops are going to be mounted on their own bow system.
Oh, okay.
You know, but definitely, hope in the winter, rains a lot.
Yeah.
The soft tops tend to like to carry a lot of,
yeah.
turn into a mini swimming pool.
Yeah.
It'll help support the soft top for that.
Right on.
You can put a sunshade over this too.
Okay.
A lot of them, just the roof only canvas.
Yeah.
And then keeps the sun off and everything, so you're not kids. You're in the front under the cab, and the kids are in the back getting sunburned. That doesn't work too good sometimes. Yeah.
Right on. Throw it in. All right. That easy, right? Right to the seatbelt mount, so even when you roll the thing, the cup holder.
You don't spill your beer. I like it. It'll fit a beer with a koozie.
So when installing these, I drop one bolt in each pad. I square it up. I measure on the sides. I look at my front pads, make sure it's all measured out square. It's not uncommon to have to pull them a little bit. The X brace, especially these braces here, when it's welded, they tend to shrink a little. You can pull them around a little bit, drop a bolt in, don't put the nut on it. Drop a bolt in over there, don't put the nut on that one. Set the front corners, all corners are in. I drill all my holes, don't bolt it in yet. All holes are done, pull them all out, lift it up, vacuum all the metal shavings out. If you don't do that, all those metal shavings are underneath there. You got a bed liner, carpet, anything like that. A month or two later, those shavings are rusted in your bed liner permanent. If you're gonna powder coat it, I recommend you build it, put all your bolts in, then send it off to the powder coaters. Otherwise, you're drilling through your powder coating and taking the powder coating out of the holes. I usually recommend you do an install on it first. You like it, everything's done, it's all drilled, you're happy with it, change anything, then run it out and powder coat it.
Alright, so we mentioned that our hood was a little banged up and the windshield valance here. And then Bob goes, well, I got a parts truck out back. You want some parts? Circle's perfect. The fender's gone. Awesome. Yeah, how much for the hood, the grill, and is the doors the same too?
I think they are, they should be exactly the same. Yeah, this thing's got a pretty built motor in it.
Oh yeah? Yeah, he bought it just for the engine. Nice.
This was like a 69 Lincoln,
Oh yeah?
I believe it was. See how it's a crank-driven power steering. It's not something you see very often.
No. Is that type of stuff worth a lot just because it's rare, or is that phasing?
Well, it would be worth a lot to the guy restoring that car.
Okay.
Who wants that, because you know you need that OE stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, when I put that motor there is going in that crew cab.
Yep.
I will put the regular belt driven back on it just because I want something I can work on easier.
Right.
I mean, I don't really want a crank driven power steering pump.
Right.
But I mean, it's just an oddity.
Yeah. It's only 4 o'clock. We did a lift kit and a roll cage. We have an hour to kill yet, more. So we're gonna strip these off and run over to his other place and swap those so it looks a little more presentable. The roof, Aaron's not up for the idea, but I think that we take the Centerboard magnet and just kind of put it on there. Just give a couple little yanks on it. This one's got a pretty rare engine, I guess, so he's putting that in something else because he's stripping it anyway, and this one's a little tougher. We are going to grab the hood, the visors, and this, if it doesn't snap. Wow, you pulled all those dents? That's amazing. Good work. Bruce was gonna ask me how I liked your shop.
You're gonna tell him that you hated it.
Yeah, well, it was great, except for that one guy who sprayed me in the face with WD-40.
That guy's such a dick. Yeah. What's wrong with people these days? That's how we say we like you in America.
So we actually bought a truck from down south before, and they only used water. And you take it home and you forget about the coolant,
Right.
and then you got a cracked block. So just because of that, it makes sense to just change it. I've been using Peak forever. It's important to change your coolant, especially if you don't know when the last time it was. Even if it looks clean and it's not overheating, there's a lot of rust inhibitors and stuff, keeps everything nice and clean inside, especially your heater core. That's the first thing to go. And it actually increases your boiling point too. We got a lot of hills and stuff to climb through, so replacing it with Peak is a must. Here we go. Okay, so that was a long day. We got a lot done. It actually looks a whole lot better. Rides better. Now we're off to a meet and greet. So, happy that it all came together. Tomorrow, we're gonna be changing the fluids. We're gonna run back and just use the hoist for a bit longer, check all the fluids, go over it, and also do an alignment on it. But that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed that. That was a lot of thrashing, but very, very big thank you to All for Fun Off-Road. If you've got an old Bronco or even F-150, they got a pile of leftover pieces, which you can tell they got a steering wheel and trim pieces and everything else. So hit them up. They're online. They got an online store. And yeah, just thanks for letting us take up a bay in your shop for a day. Remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich. If you're not filthy, then you can't do cool projects like this. Here we go, guys. Okay, so took our exit to cruise off the highway there, and then she stalled on me, which is like, I was pretty good at feathering the throttle. It just got too hot because you're cruising along, going nice and fast, and then the temperature spiked, and then she quit. So hopefully she didn't seize.